Hi families. So one of the writing options for this week right here says to pretend that you're a nocturnal animal and tell about your pretend adventures starting when the sun goes down. And we included a graphic organizer here. I don't believe that this is in your printables. So what I did is I looked at this graphic organizer, my night animal, and I just kind of created that on scratch paper instead here. So my night animal, what does it see, taste, hear, smell, and feel right there. So that's the graphic organizer that I'm going to model using for my writing. But it also says here that you can get ideas about different nocturnal animals from reading the books in our book collection, an Epic. And so that can be found right here. Epic collection, it's under Tuesday. By clicking here, you can either click on the link or I will also assign this to your child. So when you go into Epic, you'll see their mailbox will have something up. And Patterns in the Sky is our science focus this trimester, and recognizing how that impacts the way that animals live and their survival. And the book, it's down here towards the bottom. It's called You Are My Porcupine. This is the one that I used to get my inspiration from, because in this story about this porcupine, and as he's out here in the forest with his mother, it talks about what he eats and what he hears and what he that's what he eats, what he might smell. It actually says he smells danger, and thinking about how he might feel. And so I used this book and a combination of this graphic organizer. So this was the one that we included in that link. And then this is the one that we have been using at school for writing a narrative story, focusing on who the characters are, what the setting is, and the sequence of events, what happens first, next, and last, in the beginning, middle, and end. So then I was thinking about that. I was thinking, gosh, before I decided on this porcupine, I kind of made a list. I'm going to go into little parts here of the animals that I had learned about that I knew were nocturnal. And then I chose the raccoon. I liked that story, and from that story I discovered that maybe he would see some fireflies at night. It does in the story talk about him eating clover, and I'm thinking if he's a nocturnal animal, he might hear other nocturnal animals like owls hooting. In the book, he does smell danger, it says, so I put a dangerous wolf, and it's a cold night, it says in the book. So I put he would feel the cold night air. And in my brainstorm, then, for my sequence of events, I've got Pam the porcupine as my character. The setting is Sleepy Hollow Forest, and I just made that up. And then these are some transition words or temporal phrases for narrative writing instead of for informational writing, when we stick to first, next, last, or first, next, then, or first, second, and third. We use temporal phrases to signal how something happens or the time. So these are some temporal phrases like right away, soon, quietly, then, after a while, finally, moments later, we had been using in class. So I said in the beginning that Pam's going to be eating a snack of clovers. She hears owls and feels cold air and sees the fireflies. So I got those from my brainstorm up here. She's going to smell a dangerous wolf in the middle, and so she'll hide. And then in the end, she hears her friend Wally calling her name and discovers it's not a dangerous wolf after all. So this brainstorm, as I've stated before, I always do a much more complex modeling of my writing than I would expect the majority of students to be completing. They might only do 3 different sentences, and they might just have a really basic beginning, middle, and end, and that's okay. We are working to try to have 3 to 5 sentences within all of our writing, and some of our learners are already right past that, and so they'll have more. And so I always model more for them to continue striving to that. So taking that writing, I turned it into my narrative story, and now you'll see the change from just having a brainstorm of phrases and turning those into actually complete sentences, embedding the temporal phrases. So late one night, Pam the porcupine was munching on some clover by a trail in Sleepy Hollow Forest. She was listening to the owls hooting and watching the fireflies in the sky. The cold wind blew the leaves on the trees. Suddenly, Pam smelled a dangerous wolf, so she hid under a log. Then she heard her friend Wally the wolf calling her name. It was not a dangerous wolf after all. Pam felt relaxed and happy to see Wally. This is the ending is what we would be focusing really on this time of the year, because oftentimes when we get to the end of our brainstorm where it just said not a dangerous wolf after all, writers will just stop. And so we're trying to end with some kind of a lesson that the character learns or a feeling that they have. And in this case, I don't know that Pam would really learn a lesson, but I know she would feel happy that it wasn't a dangerous wolf. I hope this helps you in helping your child with their writing. If anytime you need some help, one-on-one help, I am happy to set up some time to meet with your child on Google Meets just to help them navigate through their writing. Writing is one of the trickiest subjects, so just let me know. Thank you. Bye.